there. That's where we gotta go.
We're doing that.
We're gonna do with that. You excited?
Yes, I am.
Welcome to India, Isabel. So good to have you.
I'm happy to be here.
There are signals on all the corners, and this is one of the. This is not four-way. This is five-way.
Five-way.
And if you add a person like me, I make my own way. So it's like six-way. A beautiful market.
चश्मे कितने के लिए है? आओ चलते जाओ आज का माल पिज्जा मिल आओ चलते जाओ
I like this one.
like this one भैया इसका कितना भैया 300 का है
Like this.
150 का
मैं गिफ्ट दे रहा हूँ इनको टूरिस्ट वाला दाम मत लगाइए आप फिर नहीं लेंगे
आप कितने पीस ले रहे हो
100
एक पीस में थोड़ी पैसे कम होते हैं
सही है
पाँच
सही
पीस ले
है
लो रेट
तो सही है हमेशा देता हूँ मैं हमेशा लेता हूँ
For my cousin.
Oh, that look gorgeous.
Thank you. Why is the statue cage?
quite observant he is babasaheb the leader of Dalits
Isabel, he's Dr. Ambedkar. This is the time when he had just completed the task of drafting India's constitution. There, he's holding it and standing tall. You will find these statues all across the country. From a busier street, square, parks, railway stations, bus stations, even in people's private properties. Him standing is an affirmation of our existence. To us, he's revered. To others, very violent. Dr. Ambedkar statues are one of the most vandalized in the country. The cage is to keep the vandals away. Dr. Ambedkar is more than a champion and a hero to the Dalit people. He's the hope that lives within us. He went into the heart of the problem of caste and he saw purity was lying beneath the artifice of caste. And where the human population was chopped into what he called fixed and definite units. In America, you have what you call the blacks, the browns, the Asians, the whites, and etc. Similarly, we have in India where the Dalits are supposed to be at the bottom and the Brahmins at the top. And between, there are various units of caste. And what maintains these units into continuing of caste system is the unending violence in the form of rape, mutilation, and murder. In India, a Dalit person is attacked every 15 minutes. Every day, 10 Dalit women are raped, and these are only the reported cases.
Rohit Vemula's friends, family, and the wider Dalit movement called it an institutional murder. And they called it this because it was not simply a case of suicide. They said that this was an institution that was systematically discriminating against a young Dalit student. And this was important because for a lot of us as young folks who were looking for a life of dignity and respect and were looking to education and the university to give us that life, it showed that the specter of caste was still haunting us.
In a world where Dalit people are brutalized simply to keep us in our place, Dr. Ambedkar remains our shining light, our guardian, our hero, our father. The site of Dr. Ambedkar's last home is a museum now. Quite magnificent. As you can see, it's an open book concept. While he is a giant among Dalits, the world has failed to acknowledge his genius.
Dr. Ambedkar was separated from the kids of high caste so as not to pollute them.
As a child, young Bhimrao Ambedkar was not allowed to touch many of the things his classmates would touch. He was not even allowed to touch water at the school. This is because he was considered an untouchable. That was the term used for Dalits at the time. Young Ambedkar was not allowed to touch or sit at a desk during class. But he persevered. He continued to study and break barriers. Dr. Ambedkar earned 2 PhDs, one at Columbia University and the other at the London School of Economics. After obtaining his PhDs and passing the bar, Dr. Ambedkar returned to India as a heralded scholar.
We have been carrying on with untouchability for the last 2,000 years. Nobody has bothered about it. You see? Yes, there are some disabilities which are very harmful. For instance, people can't take water, people can't have land, you see, to cultivate and earn their livelihood.
There is an insistence on conflating caste with race.
Oh, yeah.
If I brought you to the family reunion, what would you say? What would you say to them? My cousin Mary, my mother. What would you say to them that's important for them to know about you, about India, about caste, and our connection?
Our heroes found the connection, and it is up to us to find it again and build upon it in sibling solidarity. When Bhimrao Ambedkar was a young Indian graduate student, he found himself in New York City, Harlem, to be exact. He saw kindred spirits among black people in America, both in the oppression they faced and in their survival. He immediately recognized the similarities between how African Americans were treated and the treatment of Dalits.
Asha, you've been doing some work on this one, right?
Yes. My thesis centered on Dr. King's visit to India. He saw many of these things firsthand while he and his wife toured the country. I found the way in which he wrote about India to be fascinating as someone afflicted by caste in their own country. I used his essay in the magazine of United States as the core of my research. Do you know Ebony magazine?
Yes. Yes, I know Ebony magazine. Dr. King wrote about India in Ebony?
Yes. July 1959. It is quite extraordinary.
And so there is a connection between us. The African Americans, the Dalits, the indigenous people around the world, Palestinian people, the Roma people, the Buraku people,
Yes.
the outcasts of Africa are still fighting for their rights, be it Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal. You go to Latin America, you find outcasts within the Mexican society or Brazilian society. And if we think about our histories through the vulnerability of love, the symbols of hate and diets of violence will be replaced by compassion, care, and solidarity. This is the world that we have to imagine for ourselves and for others who have not yet seen the beauty that human beings have to offer.